District Governors, past, present and for the future, Paul Harris Fellows of the present, ladies and gentlemen. I am making a contribution to your evening tonight, but first I need to make an explanation as to why I am not physically present with you in that quintessential Wellington location, the Wellesley Club, which holds the name of Arthur Wellesley, Duke of Wellington. The reason is that between the time that this evening was devised and its actual execution, I've had to accept an invitation to be away from Wellington, and for that reason I'm not there. However, my wife Susan, also a Paul Harris Fellow, is there, and from the chemistry of what has been developed, I feel certain that you're all in for an enjoyable evening. Rotary is an organisation that requires membership of many committees for the purpose of work, committees, subcommittees, sub-subcommittees. But may I suggest that it's a lovely alternative to that, to be invited to a special dinner where people who have been specifically acknowledged by the organisation can gather together and enjoy each other's company. I'm happy to stand and make a small contribution to the evening's success, and I first of all, having finished my explanation, then ground myself as a member of the Rotary Club of Wellington, with which I've had an association going back for more than 10 years, during which time I've been a foot soldier member, I've been an honorary member, and I've been a member on the sideline whilst I spent 5 years with Susan living at number 1 Rugby Street, Newtown, when as Governor-General of New Zealand it was not possible for me to undertake anything like regular membership of the Rotary Club and all of the things that happen on a weekly basis. Rather, and indeed it turned into a wonderful positive opportunity to see, among other things, the amount of impact that Rotary has in many communities in our country, providing fellowship for its members, obviously, but doing extremely useful work in a variety of ways for projects for the benefit of our community in many parts of New Zealand, but also as the organisation has gathered its capacity to do so, to undertake work that is helpful in the name of Rotary in places like Fiji and Samoa and other parts of the Pacific. It makes one really acknowledge the breadth of the organisation. It has led me to think more than once about the legacy of Paul Harris, the Chicago lawyer who on the 23rd of February 1905 gathered 3 other people, Gus Scher, Herman Shorey, and another whose name I've forgotten. They were a jeweller, an engineer, and I forget the occupation of the 4th person. But they all went and had a meal together at Harris's invitation. And following that meal, they decided that they would do it again, and to draw down not only on their enjoyment of each other's fellowship, but upon their resources to help others within the community. Had it remained simply a lunch club, I don't think Rotary would have gone beyond the city boundaries of Chicago, let alone further. But now it seems that there is almost a mantra, isn't there? Whenever a new person is inducted into the club, you hear the words that you so-and-so now join an organisation which has several hundred clubs in so many countries and so many millions of members. And it's a remarkable thing that goes back to the memory of Paul Harris. It enables one to be part of an organisation that provides an immediate linkage. If you see the Rotary pin and you see an association with that person. All of us have had that opportunity. It happened to me last month in Colombo, Sri Lanka, where I met a person with whom I registered an immediate Rotary connection, and it ended up that he was a much more elevated person in the organisation than ever I had been or will be. He was K.R. Ravindran, the Sri Lankan member of the Rotary International Board of Governors, who's a personal friend of Bill Boyd, the New Zealander, whom we were pleased to see as world president of the organisation not so long ago. I have continued to enjoy my membership of Rotary, and in particular to rejoin during the weeks of this year ordinary foot soldier membership, and to realise the enjoyment that comes from the excellent speakers and the things to do with fellow members that arise readily in our club. Because this is a Paul Harris evening, it seems obligatory to bring up an individual Paul Harris story, and mine is this. On the 23rd of February 2005, organisations throughout the Rotary world were engaging in celebrations of the centenary. That also occurred in Wellington. Our own club, I think I can recall correctly, was combining with two other clubs and having a knees up in some elegant place in Wellington. But unfortunately, and you think I would make a habit of this through not being here tonight, I wasn't available to go to that event. And additionally, the event was not taking place precisely on the 23rd of February. It was occurring a couple of days later. So I thought I would do something about it regarding the 23rd of February 2005. And what I did was to write an email to the headquarters of Rotary in Evanston, Illinois, in the United States. And my email said, "Is it known what Paul Harris and his colleagues had to eat when they went out for dinner on the 23rd of February 100 years ago?" Back came an almost immediate, bemused, but also cordial reply, which said, "Well, your email has caused great interest here, and we've looked at our records and things that have been written down. And whilst it's not written down what Paul Harris and the other three had to eat, we have found out that they went to an Italian restaurant called Madame Galli's in Dearborn Street, Chicago. So it can be safely inferred that the four of them had Italian food." I thought this was good enough for me, so I made a reservation for four people to have dinner at Nicolini's, a well-known Italian restaurant in Courtney Place in Wellington. And then I invited 3 other Rotarian friends. Bruce Smith, who has sadly died in the interim, Neil Taylor, and our President-elect Hewitt Humphrey. And we went to Nicolini's and we had the most wonderful, elemental Italian dinner, and we, each of us, toasted the Rotary organisation, and we spoke about the ways in which we had enjoyed the Rotary Association. Bruce Smith had been a senior banker in his past in Wellington, and told us of what the club was like from the 1960s when he joined. Neil Taylor had worked in the meat industry for New Zealand and overseas, and spoke a little of Rotary in places other than New Zealand. And Hewitt and I spoke of our enjoyment of the things that the Rotary Club of Wellington had been able to provide for us. And that was our way in which we forged our link with Paul Harris. That brings me towards a conclusion, which I provide in the form of a challenge. And it arises because of the thought that this year, 2012, next year, 2013, and those which follow are difficult ones indeed for our organisation. The euphoria of the centenary has passed, and it is hard to keep up membership in an organisation if it doesn't continue to provide interest and continue to attract an ongoing stream of keen new people willing to take up the reins and to apply themselves towards the projects that Rotary engages with, and towards promoting the benefits of fellowship in the way that our club does. I'm pleased to say that my own club, the Rotary Club of Wellington, appears to do this satisfactorily. We live in a city where people are continually being transferred or promoted to other placings within Australasia, or people are going to Auckland, and therefore there is a continuing need to provide new membership. And we do have that challenge in front of us to make sure that younger people still find it enjoyable to come and join a group of fellow citizens, men and women, to engage in the work in Rotary. The future is not going to depend on the Paul Harris end of the organisation. The future is going to depend on the ordinary rank and file membership, those people who find their association to be one that they want to promote and to repeat for other people. It follows that I wish you all well in that endeavour, and I wish you well in the conduct of your evening. And thank you for your courteous attention.